Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Windows 365 Windows in the Cloud AMA. I am joined today by my colleagues Go and Donna, and I am your stand-in host. Today, Christian is out. So Go and Donna, if you want to introduce yourselves, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Colby. I am Go Komatsu, a product manager in the Windows 365 group, mainly focusing on Windows 365 Frontline. So happy to be back here. And that we are announcing GA of Frontline.
And then I'm Donna Ryan. I'm a CAT PM within our WCX org, primarily working on Windows 365. Also very happy to be back on the Windows in the Cloud and AMA.
Awesome. Thanks, both of you. And I am, of course, also a Windows 365 product manager, and I have also worked on Windows 365 Frontline. So we have a lot of our team here today. I'll get us started by talking about a few announcements that we have generally about the Windows 365 service and a special announcement for our next AMA in August. And then we'll get into some discussion and questions that we've received about a Windows 365 Frontline. So to start out with some announcements, you can always see new announcements at aka.ms/W365 What's New. But the first one I have here today has to do with device management, and it's that we now have Cloud PCs provision from group-based licenses have resize support either via an individual action or bulk action. So we're bringing that higher degree of flexibility to the resize action for all Cloud PCs. We're really excited to see that available for our IT admins in the Intune portal. So feel free to go to the Intune portal and play around with that and use it as you'd like. The next update I have is actually end user experience, and it's something that my team and I are actually the ones that shipped. So at windows365.microsoft.com, aka the web portal, you can now open a user session in the Windows 365 Windows native app directly from this web portal. So if you're all familiar, you have consistently been able to, for a while here now, been able to go ahead and click the drop down on the open in browser button, and you could open in the remote desktop app. Since we, of course, now have our amazing Windows 365 Windows native app, we are now making it so that you can choose between those two options. You can either open in remote desktop app if you'd like, or you can open in the Windows 365 app if you'd like. So we're just giving ultimate flexibility there in terms of where your end users want to be able to access their user sessions. And we know that that can also depend on the requirements and the constraints that you're under as our customers. So excited about that end user experience improvement. I have a next one on another topic, which is that we now are providing correlation IDs for Azure network connection failures, and this is to provide support for more streamlined support experiences by giving you, of course, more information here via that correlation ID. One of the last announcements I have here has to do with Windows 365 Government. So we now have the resource performance report now available in Government. Super exciting. So we're able to give our Gov customers more monitoring capabilities, more reporting capabilities. You can now see the resource performance report. We also now excitedly have Windows 365 Windows native app support in Government. So our government employees can now access their Cloud PCs from our Windows 365 app. And before we start talking about Frontline, our topic for today, I have an exciting announcement for next month, August. So as we have started the second half of this year, Windows in the Cloud is welcoming the Azure Virtual Desktop product and service to the family. So next month, our AMA will be focused on Azure Virtual Desktop, and we will have experts from our team that work on AVD on hand to answer your questions here. So we're super excited that Windows in the Cloud AMA is going to now be covering both of our amazing services. So stick around and definitely attend and listen in next month if you're interested in learning more or you have questions about the AVD service. So last but not least, now that I have all the rest of those announcements out of the way, we are excited to have announced that Windows 365 Frontline has now GA'd. Super, super exciting. It GA'd earlier this month, and that is, of course, why we're here and talking about the questions that we've seen already on the service. So please go ahead and follow the ak.ms link that you can see running along the bottom of the screen. If you do have any additional questions about the service, we will answer any and all of them that we can today. So the first question that I'll let Go or Donna answer is, how can somebody try Windows 365 Frontline, and are there any trial licenses available?
Yeah, I can take that. So yes, absolutely, we do have trial licenses available for you. We do encourage you to contact your Microsoft sales representative and discuss if they can provide, to help you get those trial licenses. Yeah.
Awesome. Easy peasy. That makes sense.
Yes.
The next question that we had was, what are some of the use cases that you've seen in public preview for Frontline? What types of industries and scenarios are you seeing most commonly?
Yeah, I'll take that, and Donna, please follow up later.
Sure.
We've seen a variety of industries that are interested in looking into using Frontline, starting from manufacturing, water groups, global IT, hospitality, and so much more. It's really a lot, and the use cases there are also varies. There are some customer representatives, help desk IT, working in shifts, IT accessing in multiple environments, such as they need to connect to one network while they might need to use another network. And Frontline gives you, our customers, the ability to perform that.
Yeah, and as Go said, we haven't really seen one specific industry pick up on this. The Frontline has broad use cases in most industries where your workers may not need 24/7 access. One of my favorite scenarios isn't necessarily the most obvious scenarios, like the shared PC scenarios or call centers. It's the diagnostic capabilities that Frontline can help IT admins with. So now with Frontline, your IT staff can have a Cloud PC in each ANC and be able to test networks while still only having one user account. Also, for app compat testing, you can have a Windows 10 and a Windows 11, which you couldn't do that with Enterprise. So lots of exciting stuff, lots of really exciting capabilities with Frontline.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great point, Donna. So, like, the name of the product is Frontline, although it's not limited to Frontline. It can be used for information workers, other use cases. So that's a great point to call out. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. So emphasize maybe less the name and focus more, when you're thinking about Frontline, about your use cases and the scenarios, and the fact that you may focus on any type of use case that is not 24/7 access, like an information worker. That's super exciting. We have an end user experience question here. So today, when you start a Frontline Cloud PC, there's a wait time of up to 2 minutes. Will this be improved?
Yes. This is one of the common feedback that we have heard during the public preview. We do understand 2 minutes is sometime when it comes to waiting, and we are focusing the next 3 to 6 months to improve this experience. So the end users will be less waiting when they start to work at the beginning of the day. We are, looking forward when we can announce this improvement. So please stay tuned. Yeah. One thing we do want to add on top of it is we are also improving the ability for these Frontline PCs to release the licenses at the time when the user disconnects. So a lot of improvements are going into this service right now.
Awesome. That's really exciting. Yeah. We're excited about the GA, but of course, as we do here in Windows 365, we're always iteratively and as quickly as possible improving upon our service and taking our customer feedback into account. Next question we've gotten is, what are some of the key gotchas you want to remind admins and users about, or any key points that they might not be thinking about immediately?
I think one of the big FYIs for folks looking to start onboarding folks into Frontline is that if they're using the traditional or the legacy, I hate to call it legacy, but the MSRDC client or the AVD client, you're not able to power on a Frontline machine. So your best app experience really is going to be coming from either from the browser or through the Windows 365 app itself. I think that's probably one of the big ones. What do you have to say, Go?
Yes, definitely. And I do want to kind of call out that for iOS and Android, the web app is not yet supported. We are looking into bringing that native experience to iOS and Android. Again, this is something that we are actively working on, and please stay tuned for our further uses.
For sure, yeah, that's a great call out. So the next question that we see here is that someone said that they're still able to use trial licenses that they have from public preview. How long can they use those trial licenses for?
Until they expire. If you go into the admin portal and you go find those under your products, there should be an expiration date. There were 6-month licenses, so if you've got them when it's 6 months from the time they activated. So if you have them in there, please use them. Throw your users on there. Help us generate some MAU. Let us know what you think. Let us know what your end users think.
Yeah, and we do consider this as a transition time for you. We do want to make sure you can continue to actively use the Cloud PCs that you have already provisioned. So once you convert to the proper licenses, you will be able to continue to use those Cloud PCs, and with no impact to your end users. So yeah, that's how it works.
Awesome. And if you are converting over from public preview to GA, then we want to say thank you. We're excited that you're continuing to use the service. Okay, we're kind of switching gears a little bit. This is more about provisioning, and I believe it's about a bug that we recently found. But if someone is trying to use a non-English language, let's say like Japanese or something, and they can't finish creating the provisioning policy for Frontline, do either of you have any tips here or any details about why that might be right now?
Yeah, unfortunately, we recently found this bug when the Intune display language is set to non-English. There is a bug that prevents you to click next at the time when you actually assign the provisioning policy. In order, we do have a workaround here. If you change the Intune display language to English, and then that will enable you to finish up the provisioning policy. And after you finish creating a provisioning policy, you can convert back to your original language.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for those details, Go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And this bug is being actively worked on, and we are hoping that it can be fixed in the next couple of weeks.
Awesome. Thank you. The next question is, can someone convert an enterprise cloud PC to a frontline cloud PC? How does that work?
Can I take that one, Go?
Go ahead.
Sure. So as of today, you can't convert, but that is one of the top requests we had across the private preview, the public preview, our customer interviews. We have heard that we need to have that loud and clear. So that's something we're actively investigating. Nothing we can really share right now as far as ETAs, but that's definitely one of the things we're working on.
Okay, awesome. Nice to hear. Yeah. Next question is, can someone resize their frontline cloud PCs today?
Yeah, this is related to the new announcement that we did at the beginning of this session. So we are introducing the resize function for enterprise cloud PCs. At this point, resize will not be available for frontline cloud PCs. but we do have a plan to enable this feature in the later half of this year. So we're hoping that we can introduce that pretty soon.
Awesome. Sounds good. And then I have a next question that I can actually go ahead and answer. I'll say the question and then I'll say the answer. But the question was if Frontline Cloud PCs work with Windows 365 boot. We are working on official support for Frontline as part of the Windows 365 boot GA. So when that feature goes GA, we're hoping to have Frontline support. We know that this is something that lots of our customers are excited about because there's so many scenarios for shared devices that can really benefit from the simplicity and that, quick to log on experience of boot. So we're really excited to get that out there. It's just right now while boot is in preview, we do not yet have support. When we do have support for Frontline, we will certainly announce it so nice and widely, and you guys will all be made aware. I know that we had a question come in as well about what the user experience on a Windows shared device for Frontline users would be, especially when using an app like Teams. How does sign-in work, for example? So when your user goes ahead and signs in with their AAD credentials to that shared device, they can then access their Windows 365 Frontline Cloud PC either from our web portal or from the Windows 365 Windows app, and then immediately, just authenticate into their Cloud PC, or if there's SSO enabled, that's even easier, and go ahead and use the Cloud PC. That becomes even easier when we have boot supported, of course, because then you can just have your users authenticate and immediately sign into their Frontline Cloud PC. But, hold on there, like I just said. But in terms of using an app like Teams, once they've signed into the Frontline Cloud PC, upon their first login, they'll log into their M365 apps. They can log into, OneDrive and whatever they want to on the machine. And then just like a physical device, they are logged into their apps, they're logged into Teams, and they're ready to go and they're ready to use those apps. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter whether they're on a Windows shared device, whether they're on a dedicated, just device that's even their personal device at home. They can just go ahead and log into whatever they need. If either of you have anything to add here, feel free, but just figured I would start covering that.
Definitely. We do think Frontline and 365 boot has a great synergy. So that is one thing that we're really excited and actively working to make this a great experience for everyone.
Awesome. And then we got another question from Shane on LinkedIn, which was with regards to powering Windows 365 Frontline Cloud PCs on and off. They ask whether you can use that with the Windows 365 custom RBAC roles. So I can start on this topic if that's okay. But Windows 365 Frontline has, device actions that apply to these devices, just like regular Windows 365, like enterprise cloud PCs. And so you can go ahead and configure your Windows 365 custom RBAC roles, with whatever permissions you want. And we have permissions that are associated for Frontline, just like they're associated with for enterprise. So that should work just as fine for you as it works for enterprise. There should be no real difference there. Or Donna, if you want to add anything, feel free.
Yeah, I think that covers all. Everything that is supported on enterprise, we are looking into supporting on Frontline. So basically, please do consider that the features on enterprise will be supported on Frontline, unless we have a call out like the resize that we mentioned. Yeah.
Awesome. It looks like we have a question that came in from Twitter, which is, how long does it take to deprovision one user on a Frontline license and then reprovision another?
Yeah, that's a great question. And this is one of the unique cases that are different from enterprise. So kind of conflicted with what I shared earlier. So for Frontline, it is very important to call out that the licenses are going to be tenant-wide. It is not IT admins, or you do not need to assign a license directly to a particular user, which means these license activities are very dynamic. based on AAD groups. So it is as easy as removing that particular user from the AAD group and adding a new user to that AAD group. So that will automatically start deprovisioning the Cloud PC for the user that was removed. And once there is additional license available, then the new user will have a new Cloud PC provisioned.
So as I was listening there, just wanted to ask a clarifying question. So when that user gets removed from the AAD group, there is no grace period like there is an enterprise, correct?
There is grace period. So there is a 7-day grace period.
That still applies, okay.
Yeah, admin will have the ability to end the grace period immediately, but the grace period will be the same as enterprise, 7 days.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. For my own clarification too. I haven't tried deprovisioning yet, so that was a good question from Twitter.
Great question. Yeah. Yeah, looks like.
Okay. Looks like we have another question from LinkedIn, which is, what is the best way to see how many licenses are being used?
Sure. Donna, would you like to take this one? Or
Sure. The question on licenses, license consumption, and concurrency has been one of the number one asks since we've started onboarding folks. And so one of the first investments we've made in Frontline in our engineering efforts has been to improve the reporting and improve alerting. We have concurrency reports now available within Intune to show how many users are currently logged in, those trends over time. We can also see as well activity, if systems are actually being used, if they've been logged in after X amount of time. We've also bringing in alerting as well, which is really important in concurrency because right now with Frontline, you can only allow the number of users that you have licenses for. So arbitrarily, if you have 100 licenses, you're 100 users. 101 comes in right now, 101 can't get in. That's another feedback we've heard, but that's a whole different question. But what we've made some serious investments in our reporting and in our alerting to help admins know, one, if they're going to run out, but also to help plan and make sure that they've hit that sweet spot in licensing. So look for future improvements. We always like to hear more on how we can better inform our admins and our users as to what's going on to make their lives easier. So please give us some feedback, try out those reports and let us know.
Awesome. I don't know that we have any other questions coming in. Oh, we just got one. Okay. Yay. Yeah. Okay, so this question says, if we want to use Frontline to support, for example, 3 shift workers that are in 3 different time zones, what region do we use in Azure?
I don't think it matters, does it?
No, I don't think it matters. I think this is more related to like the Azure network regions. So if that is the case, and like everything will be kind of controlled by the provisioning policy. So if you can create 3 different provisioning policies that are associated with the different regions, then you'll have the ability to use all 3 regions.
There we go. Nice and simple. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Do either of you want to discuss any, features for Windows 365 Frontline that are upcoming that you're really excited about? Is there anything you'd like to discuss there?
Yeah, maybe I can start with sharing that like Frontline went GA early this month. This is a version 1 for us, and we are actively investing in improving the experience. As one example is Donna shared alerting. We have heard a lot of customers share that they would like to have an alerting capability so they don't need to constantly look into the report. So we are looking to build that function and bring it to light. And I think that can become available soon. We are also hearing some comments around like the 101 license case that Donna shared earlier too, where we do understand if people are working in shifts, there will be cases there where shift workers will be overlapping, and for a short period of time, they might need a little extent of the license. So we are looking into how we can build that ability with a way that will not impact the end users to work efficiently. Donna, do you have anything else?
Well, I think I just kind of found out about another investment that we're making that I'm really excited about. One of the big requests that we had as well was that it's great that we can apply the license at a tenant level, but let's say you wanted to go ahead and subdivide those between business units. That is something that we've also heard loud and clear. That one we are investing in as well. We've actually taken a lot of that feedback that we've received, and just as a side note, if anybody that's watching this was in the public preview and took time to fill out our survey, I read every single comment, categorized it. Thank you for the kudos. Thank you for the positive feedback. The very small amount of not so positive feedback, but we learned from all of that. I think every item that folks have asked about in all of our various venues of feedback, we are either actively building or getting it on the roadmap. So your feedback is essential. I know you hear this all the time from events like this, but yeah, your feedback can absolutely make the difference in the product. So if you see something that you need, that you want, let us know.
Amazing. Yes. Second, everything Donna just said, of course. We are always taking feedback, and that is truly the biggest driver of our own feature and product backlog and what we are deciding to invest in month by month with our engineering teams. Looks like we had another question that came in. We tried the public preview as a small pilot. What new features are available now that Frontline is GA'd? So kind of that delta between what we were offering in public preview and what we're offering now in GA.
Yeah, I can take that. So the features that we have released as part of GA and some of the features that we are actively investing are documented as part of the blog that we will be sharing the link later on. So for details, please do take a read of the blog. But from the delta between the public preview and the current GA is one of the key features that we have added is the remote actions. So now for Frontline, as you this is an exclusive feature for Frontline that we will give the IT admins the ability to power on and power off the Cloud PCs remotely. And this allows the IT admins to kind of force people to log off or force the Cloud PCs to turn down in case they notice that some Cloud PCs are being used for a long time and without the need. This also gives the ability for IT admins to turn on the Frontline Cloud PCs in case they want to run a Windows update or like a security update to be performed immediately. We do not expect this to be used in like a daily level. It's more of like a support use case. But having that ability, we believe that it will help the IT admins to self-serve in case there are some issues that they might found throughout using the Frontline fleet. The additional another feature that we are introducing is it's not like a completely new feature, but the concurrency report that we shared earlier that is being improved. We have making sure that we will be able to give good reporting of how many, and a little bit of more improvement on the lag that we had on checking the current usage of the Frontline Cloud PCs. And in addition, we are investing more and more the learning features. The more we would like to bring in the bulk actions. These are all documented as part of the blog. Yeah.
Can I ask you a quick question on
Sure.
the power on, power off?
Yes.
Are those actions, can those be run via our API?
Yes, we also have a Graph API that you can use if you would like to go to use the APIs.
Cool. I know some admins are pretty big on scripting, and those APIs are crucial. So I'm very glad to hear that those are also GA along with the whole product.
Definitely. Thanks for checking that. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. It looks like we have another question that has come in, and this has to do with the kind of number of licenses and buffering the amount that they purchase. So this person asks, what percentage of extra licenses should we have in order to ensure that we don't run into issues with overlapping shifts or users forgetting to log off?
Yeah, this is a good question as well. A common one that we have been internally discussing on what would be a good guideline. Unfortunately, we don't have like a fixed guideline that we can share at this point. We are still investigating what is the good amount, but just sharing of what we have been discussing internally, I think we have been hearing a lot of people sharing like 10% is kind of the additional percentage that you made that might suit well from both the use case level as well as the costing, that it increases. So maybe start from 10%. And I think based on your use case, the most important, we believe, is that you understand your use case, how your users are actively using. So also by combining with checking the concurrency report, you can see the peak hours and make sure that when you hit the peak hours, your users are not getting blocked.
Yeah, I'm gonna second what Go was saying. It is going to really depend on your users, how your organization functions. There really isn't a hard good number between 5 to 10% if you just wanted a TLDR. But start small, start a pilot, start seeing how those numbers start to play out with your concurrency reporting, so you can kind of start getting an idea of when those overlaps happen, how many folks are overlapping. Is it coming from this department or that department? Just try to get you to wrap your to get a good idea of those data points so you can make that choice. But and again, too, we're making those investments in the engineering behind the scenes to make that choice just much easier for you. So very much looking forward to seeing that get developed.
Yeah, and like if you are like afraid of your end users forgetting to log off and consuming a license while it's not used, we do encourage you to set the idle time session timeout, which is available through MDM policies. By default, we have set this session idle logout as 2 hours, but you will have the ability to change it to a shorter period. So that might help as well.
Awesome. We have a question about alerting that has come through. I'm curious to see if either of you know the answer. When email alerts are available, will I be able to add more than one email address to receive those? For example, could I add my own and then another team or group?
Yeah, great question. Yes, and yes, you will. We will be providing the ability to add more than one address. We do understand, like it only one address will restrict the usage. It'll be redo, like some people might go to summer vacation, and if that is the only person that is receiving, that will not work. So definitely we will be giving the ability to add more than one email addresses.
Awesome. That sounds great. If either of you have anything additional to say about Frontline right now, feel free to do so. And everybody keep sending in your questions. If you're thinking about more of them, we are here to answer, of course. I will say that we're excited to have Windows 365 boot support, like I said earlier, for Frontline coming soon enough, later this year. And that will be configurable by IT admins, just like how Windows 365 boot standardly is. And we're super excited to see that because we know that there's a lot of scenarios and there's a lot of end user personas here that are wanting to or already using a service like Windows 365 Frontline. So the quicker that we can get you onto your machines and get your shift work starting, because we know there might be more of like a time constraint or time relevance there compared to, an information worker going to their desk to start their more corporate work per se, the better our service is servicing you. So we're super excited. We've been working with the Windows team and lots and lots of people to get this off the ground, and we're super excited. And we have our other PM, she's not here today, but Alina doing an amazing job leading that effort. And it looks like we have another question that came in. How do Frontline users know that they are using a shared license? Is it on me as a system admin to educate them on how it works, best practices to sign in and log off, etc.? I can take this, or Donna, go ahead. Either way.
So essentially, they really don't, and that's actually kind of cool. We want users to get to what they need to do. They need to do their job. We don't really necessarily want them fretting about am I shared? Can I get in? So we haven't really shared many of the technical details of what a cloud, Frontline Cloud PC is to the user, because it really doesn't impact their day-to-day functionality. Now, that being said, we do have some messaging that's a little bit different than we have in Enterprise, which is focused on the disconnection, because the disconnection is really the trigger to go, to eventually shut down the Cloud PC, release the license, etc. So we do have notifications that users receive when they're logging in to make sure that you disconnect. So from a management perspective, as a sysadmin, yes, you would want to share that. Maybe not so much that you're using a shared license, and maybe it's more of making sure that their data is saved and that they're taking the action to hit that disconnection versus doing it themselves, and at least give them that implication, because once the Cloud PC is gone idle enough, it will, it can get shut down, and potentially there's user data loss. We're working on that one as well, but in the interim, that would be something that you would want to communicate. But I guess the short answer is we're not letting them know. But there's that big distinction between that behavior, the shutdown, and the disconnect. That you would want to communicate to your users. Colby, did I miss anything? You want to fill in any blanks?
Yeah. I would just say that the only thing that we're signaling to your users is a reminder when they're in the connection experience, so when they're first logging on to the Cloud PC, and then an in-session reminder to them just to save their work, like Donna said, and log off when they're done. So it's just kind of a fundamental philosophy to us and the Windows 365 team as we're building our service out, that we want to keep the end user experience as simple as possible. We want to keep it as similar to like a physical device experience, right? We don't want to have to like add on more and more kind of like cognitive and mental load to your end users that differentiates from if they just like were opening a physical device, right? So just like Donna said, we're keeping it simple. So we are keeping it simple, and we're wanting to improve our feature set and our end user experience more and more as the months go on, so that we can just continue to improve that experience for your end users. It looks like we got another kind of transition question, which is, how do I transition a user from Frontline to Enterprise? So now we're kind of going from Frontline to Enterprise, not the other way around. Is there a gap in access for when I do that?
Yeah, I can take that. So At this point, how you can transition a user from Frontline to Enterprise is by creating a new Enterprise Cloud PC for that user, and then revoking the access to the Frontline side later on. So you will need to. There is no way to convert the Cloud PC itself. It will be at this point transitioning to a new Cloud PC with the enterprise license type. So we do kind of related to the earlier question. We do hear from customers that this transition may need to happen based on like what they are seeing with the end user usage. We are aware of that request and we'll be looking into how we can do these transitions, both from Frontline to Enterprise and Enterprise to Frontline.
But in the interim, if you still need to make that move anyway, you can get. I think my didn't shake my mouse long enough. No, okay, my screens have all come back up. I kind of forgot it. Anyway, if you do need to do that today before we have the tooling to do that for you automatically, you can still leverage things like your OneDrive for Business, your Intune policies for applications, your Edge profiles, so browser preferences and the shortcuts. Follow them along. So you can use those existing tooling you're using today to help to make that less of a challenge when migrating the user. The other cool thing too is you could for a time you could allow the end user to have both, so you can allow them to move whatever they want to, and then selectively throw things in OneDrive, and they'll just boop, pop back up on the other. So that could be another method or another tactic you could take when trying to migrate that till we have something a little more friendly.
Yeah, great point. Thanks, Donna.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it looks like that's all of our questions for today. So we're going to wrap up a little bit early. Thank you so much, Go and Donna, for joining. And I was super excited to be here filling in for Christian. So I believe Christian will be back next month. He should be here. Once again, super exciting session next month for Azure Virtual Desktop, which we are now welcoming to the Windows and the Cloud family. So please do tune in for that exciting session. We're so excited that Windows 365 Frontline has gone to GA, and so excited as well to continue to improve this service, have our customers use it, and give your end users and yourselves as admins the best experience that we possibly can. And so our final note is just to, keep the conversation going at aka.ms/community/Windows365 and to have a lovely rest of your July. And we will see you in August. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.